All right, we are live, and we want to welcome you to another MASKast chat. Uh, this has been a long time since we've actually been doing anything mask related, at least on the podcast realm. But we've got some exciting news that just came out today on USA Today, and we wanted to get right at it. But first off, since this is an Ages of Mask meeting, Jason, do you have your little envelope nearby?
Crap, no.
Haha, sprung the surprise on you again.
Talk amongst yourselves there for a while.
What are we?
I don't do it very well.
Now I'm very confused. What are we referring to? An envelope?
Yes, I sent Jason an envelope, mysterious gift.
What? Not to be opened until the next.
MASKast.
Very cool. Okay.
He tried to do that. He tried to do that for me on another time, and I, well, almost blew it.
All right, so I have the envelope. I'll open it up. And,
No. First, we have to try to investigate what it is, right?
You can't, and this could be a lot of fun.
Is it bigger than a bread box?
No. It is approximately about 6 by 9 inches. An envelope. Okay. It's not thick enough to be like a DVD.
Not even like one of those.
Actually, it says the measurement on the package there, Mr. Postal Service dude.
Well, I don't deal with the Postal Service and their crap that they dish out. It's something definitely. It's like rigid, but it's not. I don't know. It's a little fluffy on the inside.
Well, I will give you one. I'll give you one minor hint, and of course I don't have it next to me, but I have one just like it.
Is it one of the mini prints?
If I could do the Family Feud, right? Yeah, we all saw.
Is it a coin?
What do we have for him today? Ding, ding, ding,
oh, is it the M.A.S.K coin?
It is. Open it up.
That's cool. You ordered those, or they sent?
I bought the last two.
Don't open till MASKast. There you go.
Can't see it. There it is.
Don't open till MASKast. Oh, very nice. Yes. It's got some weight to it. I don't know if you can see it very well, but...
A little bit, getting some glare, but very nice. Very cool. Very cool. Cool.
This is M.A.S.K P&A, isn't it, right? From the Facebook group?
That is.
Jose Rodriguez, I think is his name.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. He put those together. He made 50 of them, right?
He did. He made 50, and I have been very devoid of Facebook. I will log on if I'm lucky enough once every 2 or 3 days anymore, just to glance and make sure there's no messages for me, and then that's it. And I came across his last post. There it is.
My picture's backwards. Is it backwards for you?
No, it's fine for us. Mine looks backwards for me, but I assume you can read the shirt.
Yeah, we can read it.
I can.
KSAM. I'm kidding.
Oh, gosh. Kasam. That'd be a great radio station joke, like, KSAM for all your cartoon needs.
Yeah.
This interesting.
I think we know your potential future here.
Well, I like it. It's a nice little gift. I appreciate it.
That's
add
very cool.
it to my collection.
I figure it's the least I can do. He sends me all these M.A.S.K toys periodically, and it's usually like 2 or 3 at a time. So I got another one that's supposed to be on its way. The problem is I can't find a box the right size for it. So
he's only sending them to you so he can explain away why he keeps having to. No, honey, it's not for me. It's for Wyatt. It's fine.
His wife.
Really, sweetie? Weren't those 13 toys over there for Wyatt? Yeah, he's picking them up. It's fine.
His wife knows better. It's all for him. You know it. But
I appreciate
it. Like I said, I just saw the last. What Jose posted, like, I have 3 left. So I was actually curious and just messaged him and said he all of a sudden had 2 left. I said, what do you want for him? What's the charge? And well, okay, that's fair. So I'll get the last two, and that's
Very cool.
that's all she wrote.
Awesome.
So other than that, I think we should get into what brings us all together once again as agents of M.A.S.K, and that is our article at hand from USA Today. And I will pass the buck, no pun intended, to Jason to kind of start us off because he was the one that found it. I just found out about this 30 minutes ago.
Well,
So.
I actually did not find it because I have a wonderful team of agents that when something like this drops, they let me know as soon as possible. So
and I'm so
like,
locked down. I don't see anything unless you call me or email me.
well, my Facebook started blowing up this morning. I think I got 3 or 4 messages from people. Hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this? And as soon as I got about 10 minutes at work, I was I was on the blog putting all that together.
10 minutes. I think you spent a little more work time today than that, but shh.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, this was not really a surprise, but it was nice that they officially went ahead and released this from IDW. I don't know if we essentially introduced that we have Erik from BoulderHill.net on the line tonight.
I'm so out of script. I'm so sorry. Welcome to our humble abode that is the Agents of M.A.S.K that we always forget, at least because I'm completely. Am I disconnected from M.A.S.K yet? Not quite, but I'm working on the last little string. Not purposely. Sorry, life got in the way. But anyway, welcome,
Happy
Erik.
to be here.
We were going to have Bill from MattTracker.com on the line. He had a prior engagement tonight, but he wanted me to pass along that he's going to do a Behind the M.A.S.K podcast that he has been releasing to YouTube on the whole topic and everything very soon. So those of you who follow him, be looking for that. But we're pleased that Erik is here and we can discuss some comics, not the old comics, but the new comic and the image that we got with the press release. I guess you want me to go ahead and just read this through, and then we can kind of go around the room and comment?
I don't know. It's a little long. You want to read the whole thing?
It's just like 4 little paragraphs. We'll see.
Okay.
So we get this.
It's like 9, but whatever.
No, it's not that bad.
That was not one of his strong suits there, Erik, when we were going to school. But anyway, I digress.
Read away. I'm going to read along with you.
All right. So in this press release it says, the fans have spoken, and so by popular demand, M.A.S.K will hit comic shops later this year from the creative team of writer Brandon Easton, who writes for Marvel's Agent Carter and Transformers Deviations, and artist Tony Vargas of Rotten Ruin and TMNT, Shadows of the Past board game. We are so proud to be able to continue growing the impressive relationship between IDW and Hasbro with this new M.A.S.K comic series, says the managing editor of IDW. We can't wait to bring the high-octane, unique brand of storytelling to this book that we know fans of M.A.S.K will expect. While being mindful and respectful of the source material, the main drive behind bringing this beloved property into the new century is to preserve the old school qualities that fans loved growing up with, while also consciously infusing it with the slightly more modern sensibilities. That was a mouthful. This is where sophisticated stories meet cutting-edge designs while not afraid to look into a rearview mirror and pay tribute to its origins. It is the editorial and creative team's intention to focus their attention on the multicultural heritage of the show, presenting a contemporary M.A.S.K to fans in a unique yet familiar way. And we get a quote from Michael Kelly, who is the global publishing head of global publishing at Hasbro, We have had tremendous success with IDW over the years in relaunching classic brands for a contemporary audience, while still paying appropriate homage to their origins. We are thrilled to welcome a new team to this library of heroes as M.A.S.K joins the ranks of Gem and the Holograms, Micronauts, and the Transformers. That was kind of a weird order to put those, but
Yeah. Gem is usually what I put first anyways, but
one more paragraph. M.A.S.K launches this November as an ongoing series featuring cover art by the multi-talented Tommy Lee Edwards. To hold you over until then, this new era of Hasbro titles has already begun, with Micronauts #1 on sale now and ROM #0 kicking off on Free Comic Book Day on May 7th. So that was the official press release today, and then, of course, we got Brian Truitt over at USA Today who broke the story or had the exclusive. And he ended up adding a few more elements to the mix. It looked like he had interviewed Brandon Easton, and he had called like a Fast and Furious and Vargas. I'm sorry. They're putting a Fast and Furious spin on the mid-'80s franchise. He mentioned that. He also had some interesting things to say about how they are going to modernize some of the things, some of the changes they're going to make. They gave Miles Mayhem a last name. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Miles Mayhem Mannheim is his name now. They also it sounds like they're getting rid of Scott and T-Bob.
My guess is that they're not eliminating them, but I think that they're not going to be the ongoing comic relief.
Could be. They may bring them on later, but it's not going to be in the top 50 of their mind.
Yeah, I'm just, if Scott and T-Bob were in a third of the show, maybe they'll only be in a tenth of the comic, which I think most people out there will probably be okay with.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Oh, no, I thought the most interesting thing in the USA Today story was what they're saying they're kind of doing with Matt's personality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. I like kind of where they're going with it.
They said, just to quote what he wrote in here, this Matt tracker is a cross between Elon Musk and Idris Elba. Okay, I know who Idris Elba is. I know who Elba is. Who is Elon Musk?
The Tesla guy.
Okay.
I think he's Tesla, yeah.
Easton describes him as an engineering genius and an intellectual bad boy who had been in search of stability since the loss of his father at an early age. Matt had a troubled adolescence, and as an adult, he's given one last chance at redemption going through M.A.S.K boot camp. And then what they said about...
Which is interesting because it sounds like there's something beforehand, like it was already established.
Right, versus in the show, it was always kind of implied that
he was running the place.
In the show, it was Matt kind of using the crystal his dad brought back, had sort of built upon that with the help of Alex and Bruce and the rest of the team that had engineering and mechanical expertise. But in this now, it sounds like he did not. I mean, he very clearly will not have been the creator of M.A.S.K, and it also sounds more military.
Right.
Boot camp is a phrase I think we all associate with a military group of some form.
When I thought of that, the first thing that came to my mind was Batman Begins. Bruce Wayne's parents murdered at a younger age, and he's kind of trying to find his place. In other words, they also mentioned about Mayhem. Instead of being a bumbling villain, he is a master manipulator, brilliant military strategist, and control freak whose plans to rule the world are extremely close to fruition. Venom will be a true force. They don't lose often, nor do they accept defeat with grace, says Easton, promising that the group and its leader will be deadlier than portrayed in the past, which I'm okay with.
Yeah. Instead of them running off when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
The line
Give them a bit more of a backbone.
The next line, though, is interesting, and I think it throws back more to the mini-comics that we talked about forever ago. Matt and Miles have almost a father-son bond, the writer adds, but when Matt learns what the older man has done for power, quote, it provides the catalyst for Matt to stop searching for a role model and figure out what it means to follow his own heart and soul. Now, in the show, Miles and Venom did not know the identity of any of the M.A.S.K agents.
Right.
And with this, it sounds like it's going to be pretty clear that both sides know who all the players are.
Right.
Which is fine, because it really never made sense for the M.A.S.K agents to be secretive anyway. And also, Scott was always there, so...
Right.
How did you not figure out Matt was around?
That's very true.
Who's the kid in the walking garbage can?
That's a pretty good impression.
We found this robot hiding outside.
I think we got our vocal cast right now.
Right?
We got a script cast, bro. Just saying.
Yeah, there you go. Now, they do go on at the end of the article to talk a little bit more about the supporting cast. The supporting cast also reflects 21st century occupations and motivations, but will have some familiarity. Easton's giving Venom henchman Sly Rax a totally new identity. I don't know what that means.
I don't love that. Go on.
You're scared.
And he thinks readers will like the two female leads, villainous Vanessa Warfield and heroine Gloria Baker. The latter is one of several characters getting M.A.S.K upgrades. Gloria is capable of a bunch of cool holographic hacker interface things, says Vargas. Now he's the actual artist. The new M.A.S.K, on the whole, speaks to the current zeitgeist of constant upgrades and need for immediate gratification, according to Easton. So imagine your car, motorcycle, SUV, or yacht could change into a more powerful vehicle, complete with the state-of-the-art weapon systems and other cutting-edge technology. The possibilities are as fun as they are disastrous. So it sounds like they are going a little bit different direction with maybe the vehicles and the masks. I see holographic, and I'm not thinking Gloria though. You know.
No, that's a Brad Turner thing right there.
Yeah.
But this is more of a hacker interface, so it sounds more like she's going to be a computer thing. I don't know. That's interesting. Also, I guess what I was saying about Sly Rax, and it kind of also goes with Vanessa, is I feel like those two characters were always really home runs in the episodes.
Yeah.
To me, those two characters didn't really need tweaking. Vanessa was a really great second in command, and Sly was, he had his incessant inability to get along with anything that lived, whether it was bugs, bears, koalas, whatever. I hope that the changes go well. I would think that maybe toning down some of the culturally insensitive characters might be on their list, such as Chief Nevada Rushmore and Ollie Bombay with his...
It's a fine line to walk nowadays, and I believe it was in the press release they talked about having like a multicultural team, which I would definitely want to keep if you can, but there's some obvious like stereotypes and stuff you just don't want to get into and offend anybody at this day and age, you know.
Right.
Right.
So it makes sense to get them into jobs or positions or whatever that can maybe take on some of those cultural elements rather than what they were before.
A lot of them had great jobs. Julio Lopez was a doctor and a drag car racer. I mean, talk about overachieving. Who is not okay with that? I guess the French Canadians might be a little annoyed that Jacques Lafleur is just a lumberjack. I don't know how much we'll get out of him. Alex is a veterinarian and an engineer and a computer. I mean, who had a? I guess Cowboys are really upset that Dusty could barely make a pizza.
Very true.
Well, going with what you were talking about, Eric, with M.A.S.K, it sounds like being already created. It's not something that comes from Matt. That these people are probably already on the team, and it's
Possibly.
not so much a recruitment or something like what we actually do with our script. So I don't know. It's interesting. Let me just halt that conversation for a minute, and let's talk about the artwork for a second, because we did get a piece of art with the press release, and it was a little confusing to me at first, just because we didn't get the third name in the USA Today article.
Right.
We got it in the press release that Tommy Lee Edwards is doing the cover art, and from what I was shown today on Instagram and some of his other social media outlets, that this was done by Tommy Lee, and it confused me though too. It's well done. It looks great.
Very well.
I think it's awesome.
Classic. It's basically the classic look. A little bit of updates here and there as far as the weaponry goes, but it's basically the classic look. But when you read the USA Today article and all these kind of modernizations they want to do, this is not your modernization other than the weapons.
Right.
You got a Gatling gun sticking out of the top of Hurricane, and what we assume is, I guess, Gator. It's got his roof.
Gator's a modern vehicle, though, which is funny because the Jeep is the only vehicle that in the past 50, 60 years has not changed its look.
Not by much. Little tiny tweaks, but not. Well, you're right. Not by much.
Once you're drawing it in a comic book, I think that those things, of all the vehicles and all the cars and planes and everything, the Jeep holds up the best, and then whereas the Bel Air that is Hurricane is so rooted in its time.
Yeah.
And obviously the 80s Camaro, I mean, I love it. It's Thunderhawk, but that's not a modern car.
Yeah, it's right, and I don't know. I mean, it just confused me. Why are we going with the classic look when you're trying to tell us there's going to be some major changes coming along, and you're not hinting at anything, at least from that picture. But
unless this is something to grab us, that's old,
us
80s fans to grab us to grab that magazine.
I think you're right.
Maybe the intro is a new dawn, or something that explains away the old, out with the old, in with the new kind of persona that will become M.A.S.K. Because, like you said, it's going to be a completely different M.A.S.K. from what we know.
I'm definitely with that.
They'll keep names, I'm sure, but they won't keep much anything else.
And also, this is 6 months away. This cover may never see print.
That is true.
Yeah, and I was thinking maybe this was just a piece of art for the press release itself to get the fans' attention. Oh, I remember that. Kind of a reaction. And then now, as we get closer, maybe we'll see some more covers or something to show off exactly what they're going to do. But I don't know. It seems like I'm excited if they can somehow infuse and keep, like they say, keep the color schemes and all of that, and still give us a fresh new look. Because who knows if they have the license from GM still.
Right.
I guess they would have to do this picture, but
the old contract may have given them rights in perpetuity for the property, and so they may just have like an agreed upon rate that they have to pay for its use. The one format that I think they would probably need a new contract for is movie, because they already have done comics. So at least at some point, they did. Well, I mean, I assume they paid the rights for it, but they paid for the rights to use these vehicles' likenesses. I don't know how that works. I think that even if this isn't final art, I think that there's a couple of things to take away that I really like. One of them being the dynamic style of it. I think that's really going to be important, because M.A.S.K was an action show, and if you don't have some way to convey that in a comic book, which is a still format, it's going to really fall flat. But this cover seems to have tons of action.
Yeah, I agree.
They mentioned it in the release that they recognize how important just some of the color schemes are in terms of the personality of the vehicles to an extent. And so I think that's good. The colors are so bright and bold. I hope anyone who's tuning in, I hope they've had a chance to look at this, because the image really is exciting. I really like, if you guys can kind of peek in on Matt standing in that background. His helmet is traditional Spectrum, but then his uniform's kind of like, I don't know what, he's got like clips and belts. It looks a little more like tactical something, a little more military maybe, and I don't know, to me that's a really cool compromise between, Spectrum is really what's so important for the identity, but then doing whatever you want with the rest of the uniform can really help to modernize it.
Right.
And I hope that maybe that's the way they're going, with that mix of the old and the new.
Yeah, I mean, I can almost see where, whatever it is, the straps come to the point in the middle of his chest, like the traditional look. It's almost like hidden underneath all of that other gear. Brad's helmet and suit, I mean, they look pretty well close to the original.
He's hunched over in the picture. It's a bit tough to tell.
You can kind of tell that it's a modern crotch rocket for him. You can see the updated Jeep, like you were saying about Gator. But you're right with all the other classic look. I mean, I don't know. It looks like, I mean, this is just one of many, like you said, this is just one of many artwork that was probably submitted, but it somehow made it to the newsroom, at least for USA Today.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they...
Who knows? Maybe this is just whetting our appetite. We're gonna fall. We're gonna see the new Camaro or new something.
This may have just been the best thing they had to go with the story. They may have just, because it's so far out, still 6 months. They may not have had any other art, and they said, well,
they did. It just sucked. They had that Speed Racer looking whatever it was not too long ago.
Oh no, that doesn't count. That had old pictures from
that
Transformers and stuff. That
that was literally thrown together.
I would say that the throwback logo, in this release, in this article, is a bit of a thrown together. The throwback logo is just the original logo, and then they wrote Mobile Armored Strike Command on top of it.
Right.
Well, if you read the article on USA Today, it said it was one of the working. I somehow lost the stinking article, but it was saying that it was one of the working logos from when it debuted. So I don't know if they changed it along the road to without the actual, breakdown of the acronym.
I noticed that. I didn't really pay too much attention to it because I was like, well, this isn't new. This is just, like you said, they just added the wording in there.
Yeah.
It says it's one of M.A.S.K's throwbacks. Its old logo from the mid-90s, mid-1980s toys and cartoons. So
yeah.
I think they're just putting another point of reference there.
Sure. And they include a YouTube link to the first episode, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. One of the things that for me is the most exciting is that we've heard rumors and whatever about M.A.S.K down the years, and they kind of never play out. Whether it was M.A.S.K showed up in a comic book at like San Diego Comic-Con, or they released the Matt Tracker G.I. Joe like 6-7 years ago, and we're like, oh my gosh, does this mean they're going to do something? No.
Right.
It didn't. And finally, for once, it really
They're
looks
following
like
through.
Something's happening, they're giving us a date. They're saying November, you will be able to buy this comic or a M.A.S.K comic, and they've put specific writer artist team on. I don't know, that's the most exciting takeaway for me, is that this isn't just a really eager executive. This is really moving forward, and they're pushing it up. I'm kind of interested to start checking out. I might try to pop into the comic store and take a look at the back pages of some of these other 80s revamps like ROM and Micronauts, because sometimes they preview upcoming stuff, and stuff that's out now. So who knows? Probably not yet, but maybe in like 3 months, the back issue, the back pages of ROM, which I wouldn't buy either otherwise, might have a couple pages preview or something of the new M.A.S.K comic. So it might be worth, if you're excited for this and you're interested, checking out, keeping an eye on IDW's other publications.
Yeah.
Well, I like the idea that they're using the comics to keep us involved during the while they're still developing the movies. And I don't know. I'm not one to really run out and buy a comic that I've never really read before or know much about. But I don't know. I might go ahead and grab the first issue of both of those and just see what they're doing with it. And if they are setting up anything early for the cinematic universe, and how they all come together, because that's going to be interesting to me. How are you going to bring all of these together? And we still probably, the next one that we'll get will be Visionaries. And this is just me speculating. I would think that they're going to bring Visionaries back into comics, and then maybe right before they do an announcement about, all right, we're going to do this movie, and then this movie, and this movie, that's when they really come back with G.I. Joe. So,
right, and
I'm thinking out loud. I think that might be what they're thinking.
The comics might be a way for them to test stories for the movie.
Very true.
Yes.
They may have a general origin story they want to put out, and then they put it out, and then they get some feedback. It's like, well, we don't really like this, we don't like this, but this part of it was really good. Then they go to the movie and they're like, look, our audience loves this part, they hate this part, let's cut out the bad parts, and then the movie, because for these kinds of movies, that they generally invest so much money that they can't afford for them not to be successful. It's not a $2 million independent film that they shoot in someone's basement. This is a $600 million, they blow up Toronto or something. Whatever the last Transformers was, they really probably don't want any kind of screw ups, especially if they can easily test out some stories and test out the market that way.
Yeah, and they were pretty much guaranteed that by filming filming half of that last Transformers in China, and China being the second biggest box office in the world.
Right.
They were pretty much set up to make sure they make money on that one.
Yeah.
Even though it was still not what we know. But anyway, well, you guys have anything else you want to add to the discussion tonight?
I think it goes without saying that I'll be buying these. This is there's no question in my mind that when these hit the stands, I'll be honest, I'll probably buy 2 copies of each issue, and I'm very excited. I don't like. I'm trying not to scream into the mic here, but I am so excited. For the first time in 30 years, we get a new M.A.S.K story that is canon. Hopefully canon, but just really, really bringing it back. And I really never thought we would see it. I never thought M.A.S.K would come back. So.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm not an avid comic book reader, but I might still buy an article or a comic book or two just to say that we helped in our own little way, whether it was great or small. We did something to kickstart this. You, Eric, as well as Bill and Albert Pineo. Even though it's been 10 plus years, you guys kickstarted it, and then we got on the field and just did the same as you guys, just kind of helped it along. And now all of a sudden, whether they listened directly or indirectly, Hasbro listened eventually, and now we're getting. Even though it's not exactly the fruits of our labors that we would like to see for Jason and I specifically, it's still something that we get to see that M.A.S.K is coming back around, and it's not just table talk online. That's it. It's now coming to fruition. It's just a matter of November is now the deadline. Too bad they couldn't have done it last year for the 30th anniversary, but better late than never.
I would rather a good product that comes out a year later than a bad rushed product that came out for the last year's anniversary, because a good comic, a good movie will endure for forever, and an anniversary date is something we mention once in a while.
Right.
Very true. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. The first words out of that press release was, "The fans have spoken," and they are at least making it look like they're paying attention to us, and that speaks volumes to me. Just being online for the last 5 years, and we're seeing this kind of come now into fruition, where we're finally getting some real tread work over at Hasbro, and I'm excited. I'm like you, Eric. I'm probably going to be there buying copies when they're out. I'm probably going to be downloading them. We did a little poll about a month ago when it was first hinted that this was going to happen, and I thought it was interesting that most of what they were talking about kind of lined up with the people that voted in that poll, which was about 75% of them wanted about 75% of the original, story and characters and TV show in this new iteration of M.A.S.K. And it sounds like they're close to that number, at least from reading that. It might be closer to 50 than 75, but if you're getting all of the classic look and the main characters and everything left in there, I think the fans on the most part are going to be happy, and they're going to go out and, like you said, buy the crap out of this, and you'd save some for their collection that it's been collecting dust for 30 years, and be able to crack one open and actually read some new material, which it's exciting. It's very exciting. I really can't wait to the day when they announce when the M.A.S.K movie is going to hit, and I'm gonna put like a countdown on the website. You know.
There you go.
I have never camped out for a movie before. I might, and I'll probably. Oh, and there's not going to be a line. It's just going to be me sitting outside of a movie theater, but that's okay. You know, one thing I wanted to mention I thought was really funny is that, I hope I'm not butchering his last name, Brian Truitt?
Yes.
Who wrote, wrote the article in USA Today in the press release. He's also the one who wrote the article about the M.A.S.K DVD release, which is now 5 years ago.
That's crazy.
Which, is really funny because actually he got a hold of me back then, and so he quoted me at the end of that article, and I'm just gushing about M.A.S.K. I gotta be honest, 5 years later it hasn't changed. I'm still so in love with this show.
Yeah.
And I think Brian must be a kindred spirit to us at heart. He must have a good place in his heart for these 80s toys and cartoons. So
he definitely is. I follow him on Twitter. His picture for the longest time, his avatar has been Destro with that little remote from the original. I think it was from the original miniseries.
Cool.
So he's definitely, I think, our age group.
Yeah.
And has a passion for these 80s cartoons. And there's still, and kind of feeding off what I said about the fans, I got to give some shout-outs just to, like Jose, like we talked about before, over at the M.A.S.K P&A Facebook page. They do a lot of stuff on there. I think it's probably the most, has the most people in the Facebook group of any M.A.S.K group.
Definitely activity.
And our pal Scott over across the pond there in Scotland, he actually scooped who was going to be writing this series. He saw that Brandon, he liked his Facebook page, Brandon Easton, and he kind of trolled him a little bit to find out, oh, he's an IDW writer. This is interesting. And this was about a month ago. Go over to M.A.S.K Comics, the M.A.S.K Comics blog today. He wrote about it. Really interesting. That and I never look through usually who follows us on Facebook or Twitter, and it's fun to kind of peek through there. I saw somebody else post over on the P&A Facebook page that they put a Thunderhawk or something out on eBay, and it actually got sent to Hasbro's war room or something, So they were that was a major little flag in the ground there that, hey, they want to actually look at some of this stuff before they start writing about it again or whatever. So big ups to Scott, and then of course our friend that we just met there just within the last few months, Mike Quackenbush, who was desperately wanting to write the story, and even hired some artists to do some concept art that we've got to feature on our website. He was real gracious today. I saw a tweet go out that he congratulated Brandon, and he's looking forward to seeing what he's going to do. So that was really cool and really classy of him to to essentially congratulate and not be upset that he didn't get the job. But
right.
I don't know if it's public knowledge, and I'm not going to try to speak for Mike, but obviously he was given the opportunity to pitch for the comic story. So that was cool that Mass Crusade campaign that he put together essentially worked, in that they noticed him and they allowed him to send in a pitch, and he got a shot at doing it. It seems though that Brandon, being on staff already, had the inside group to write it.
There may have been some wheels in motion before Mike even really got moving on that, and it may have had very little to do with the quality of his work.
Right.
I mean, any big company, there's going to be a lot more
Sure.
politics than just just the quality of the work. And I'm sure they're, if Mike has the opportunity to ever write for it, I'm sure he'll do a great job. And if the book does well, maybe he will get to do down the line. He might get to do a story or a mini series.
Right.
That's the nice thing about comics is like they go on. Some of them, Spider-Man, X-Men, those have been going for a long time. So it's not impossible that a couple years from now he may get that shot again. So
I definitely agree. And I think he even mentioned when we interviewed him there on the show that M.A.S.K could have several different iterations once they get it going again, and they could have a classic M.A.S.K, and then they could have like a futuristic, M.A.S.K set way in the future or something. Anything is possible with comics, like you say. So anyway, I just wanted to give him a quick shout out, and we appreciate everything he did to kind of push the M.A.S.K comic book world forward. And I'm probably forgetting many other people, but there's just so many people on our Facebook page now that when stories like this hit, they're either posting to our page or I'm getting messages directly, I'm getting tweets and stuff. So this is really a fan base that is close and is a real community. So I really appreciate everybody that just wants to bring the whole community together. And since we started that Facebook page, Wyatt, and our website, it just seems like everybody has come together, and there's been no real, ill will or anything against anybody. Everybody has their opinion, and that's cool. And there's a lot of opinions shared if you go over there today about the image and the story. And I saw some people pissed off of that T-Bob and Scott wasn't going to be, prominent. So there's still people that like Scott and T-Bob and think highly of them, contrary to popular demand. But I appreciate that people will express their opinions, and it's all in good faith or whatever to keep the M.A.S.K ball rolling. But anyway, just a nice thank you to everybody that's out there, and this is really an exciting time to be a fan.
It is.
Leave it at that.
That's a perfect line.
Well, I guess that wraps it up for our little MASKast chat as Jason chugs down his sweet tea. But yeah, this has been awesome. I'm excited, and like I said, I'm really disconnected at work. I can access Facebook if I want to give it about a half an hour to get signed on. Gotta love military proxy servers and stuff. I might as well just get a dial-up. I think it'd be quicker. But nonetheless, this is awesome. I'm glad you're on the radar and you keep me informed if I'm not able to get to it. But,
and before we get off the air, let me just say congratulations on the new son, and we'll get back into MASKasting when we're ready, and we've got a schedule and a plan to meet up and stuff. We appreciate everybody that's sent us messages, and when are you going to do the next MASKast? And trust me, it's in the back of our minds.
It is. I'm still waiting for a better time to do this. This was an abnormal. It worked out, but I didn't think it was going to actually work out. Our air conditioner in the house went out. Finally got someone in here to replace it. Fortunately, a good friend of mine. That's why I wasn't sure if I'd make it, because we were working up till like 8:30 at night doing this.
Wow.
So.
Well, just whenever you're ready to come back, and we'll start doing some MASKast again. In the meantime, you guys can always visit the archive and go over to and check out Cartoon Express while you're at it.
Yes.
A new episode just went up today. We were talking a little bit before we got on the show.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Ooh.
So it's a fun show with Erik and his brothers, and they just pick random episodes from random cartoons, it seems like, And
it's about as random as we could do.
It's fun though, so you need to check out that podcast too. And we appreciate your time tonight, Erik, as well.
No, I thank you for inviting me on. I mean, it's never ever hard to convince me to talk about M.A.S.K.
Same here. So, but thank you all. Thank you all the great M.A.S.K. fans, and we will catch you next time on MASKast.